Yes, we are.
All right, so I can take you down the sketchy path, or I can take you down the normal path. Which way you want to go? Sketchy. All right, let's go this way. Joy, do you need help? You want, but do you already have a group? I don't have a group.
I gotta make sure you don't get it.
Y'all have mobility issues. Do not take the path that I'm taking you on. But you already said sketchy, so we're gonna go this way anyway.
I love the sketchy path.
Holy cow, I did not expect the group to be this cool. Alright, watch your step. There may be some loose gravel, but just be aware of it and just keep good footing. That's really all I can say. Okay, I'm actually going to cut us across this way. We're going to go this way.
Oh my gosh.
And then if y'all want to sit in the shade, that's perfectly fine. Now, we're going to go through and kind of see a sneak peek of everything, but we're going to start in the original town we call Main Street that was used for the apocalypse. So we're going to head on this way. I hear apocalypse.
Yep.
Should you be concerned? Yes. Also, those over 6 feet, watch your head. Or if you just like jumping, one or the other. So. Dang, y'all two are just keeping up with me. Everybody's just waiting right behind.
Really, let's get through this now.
Yeah, we're just going to start sprinting there right now.
Run.
At the current moment. So.
They'll just wonder where we went.
Yeah.
We're just going to walk because we can. That's the only reason. I need everybody within earshot. There's 2 more coming. There's 2 more behind you, Mom. Just follow the script page that you lost. It's fine. Love you! Alright, I'm going to give y'all kind of an update. If you hear a dynamic that is very confusing, that's my mom. She's going to be the kind of the caboose of the group. So if you have any questions, you can either ask up front. You got to come up. You be courageous. Raise your hand. Yell. Either one. Or you can be in the back, stay quiet, ask my mom subtle questions if you don't want to be embarrassed, like what's a tree. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek while we're here. We make a joke in this area because sometimes we are closer to heaven than we are to hell because we have heaven and hell right next to y'all. We won't be going through there today since not a lot of it has been, well, used recently. So just for safety reasons, fallen trees, bugs, snakes, you know, all the critters. So we'll be seeing that next time around.
We're going through there, right?
If you want to go to hell, good luck, but I ain't going with you.
No.
So,
who have to like swat a few spider webs
and walk through bushes that are like that tall. Yeah, sure. We found raccoons actually hiding in the ceiling one time. So, all right, I'm gonna ask everybody a quick question. Who's been to Capernaum before? Okay, so I got a pretty new crew. That's not bad. All right. So, just a little summary of who Capernaum is and what Capernaum is and who Tammy Lane is. Now, some of y'all probably know her, but others probably just heard of her name. So, Tammy Lane, she actually had a vision of this place many years ago. It was actually 2005 when a dream of hers had come true where she wanted to build a first century village. Now, we will be attending the first century village later. Yeah, I see it. I'm gonna walk back the whole time. The first century village is what you see over there, but first we'll be going through Main Street. No, oh, hello there. So, 2005, Tammy Lane had a vision of creating the first century village, aka where The Chosen was filmed. Now, the first century village was the very first thing that was built out here. Then, it was the garden. We'll be going through the garden later. But out here, we do something called live experiences. Now, the village that we're in right now, this is what we call Main Street. So, this is our Main Street suite. People come out here, they rent it to either house people, like what's being used for content, we have some people staying in there, or they use it to actually do films. Recently we had a film come in here and it was about a woman escaping an abusive home. And they actually made this house, which is single story, make it look like a 2-story with 4 bedrooms in it. Now that is the movie magic. Yeah. Just trying to, yeah, Zach's like, yeah. So this is Main Street Suite. Now, Main Street, obviously, because it's the main street. But this thing is my favorite thing in the entire area. So if y'all want to all come over here, kind of line up in the shade, which I'm sure y'all started stepping up quickly. So the thing about this gazebo, it's not just a regular gazebo. So why we have Main Street out here was, what we do is live experiences. Live experiences is think of like a theater show or like a reenactment, but you actually get to walk through and interact with the actors, where the actors will be on stage and you'll be like, hey, welcome to Main Street Village, or whatever we called it at the time, because it's been used for many different projects. But for what we used it for was apocalypse. Now, this is pre-apocalyptic. We actually had signs on the wall that said, in us we trust. The pre-apocalyptic was the town without Christ. This means that they relied on themselves, they didn't have a good faith or foundation. So, when we go over next door, you will actually see the post-apocalyptic, the alternative side. Now, to create the reality of this entire area, we can hear Lane next door, this entire area, is this gazebo actually has 4 different sets of hydraulics that lift and shake. So we created an earthquake underneath here. That is real life magic. Now, what I'm going to talk about next is movie magic. So if y'all turn around, you'll see the coffee shop sign, straight above you. Now, for my beloved Vanna White, please go open the door, you will see why we call this actually the coffee ship. So in Washington's armor, this was actually used as the ship in the central hub. Now, clearly, we are landlocked. We are in upside of Texas, so we can't really be near any water. So for filming of Washington's armor, we actually had to stay in Capernaum, and a lot of it was filmed, so if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. Totally not sponsored, again. But this was used as one of the commander ships. So we did a lot of filming, so we would close out this area, so I'm not going to shut the door on y'all, but I'm just going to show. We actually hooked something up here that went here all the way down, and it was solid wood, so it still looked like the arc of the side. So it covered it. So this is just what set design can do. Not going to hit you all in the face, I promise you. All right, we can walk on out here.
I'm just saying.
Even though we used to do them, 4 or 5 times a year, sadly we are not doing the apocalypse anymore. I'm devastated. That was one of my favorite events. But we do something called the Crimson and the Passover experience. So the Crimson is in Easter. And later on, we'll be walking through the Passover experience. So if y'all want to keep following me this way, I'm going to show y'all post-apocalypse and what happens to a town without Christ.
Do you know why they stopped doing? I know it's been a couple of years, probably since COVID, right? Since they did the actual.
Actually, we did it after COVID. We stopped it last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm 21.
That was my first time here.
Oh, apocalypse.
So it had been.
I was a German soldier.
After.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I was a German soldier. Don't tell people that. So through this, you got to walk through. Oh, it's really edgy in here. I forgot about that. So when you walk through here, you would see a few kids laying here that were homeless. You had tents puffed up, barrels, trash cans, and you would want to help them. You would have that feeling of, I need to help them. Then this guy would walk around the corner. He was passing out foods in cans, and then kidnap the girl. That immediately showed just a shock factor right there of where are we going? And next you see someone come around the corner, please help, you gotta help us. And then they come this way.
Just slowly around the corner. Dramatic effect.
Yeah. So, if any of y'all have really bad ankle mobility or don't like uneven surfaces, don't recommend this, but we're going to come inside. Now, if you see, this place is very similar to the building next door. This is the same Main Street suite as we had just pointed out on the other side. This is what happens to the post-apocalyptic house.
Oh, that's not creepy at all.
Whoa. I'm gonna wait for everybody else to get outside. Now, the building was actually created like this. You can look on the concrete. It was actually lifted to simulate that the house had been recovering after an earthquake. So, one thing about this is, when you walk through here, you kind of get transported back in time. The only thing that would disrupt you is if your phone went off, but usually we ask to turn phones off. So when you come through here, you start to get a different presence. There's people running around, there's trash cans lit on fire, there's guns shooting everywhere, it's just noise. And you see, they were trying to actually start a riot in the middle of the town. They were yelling and screaming, just like basically blasphemy all at once. But they were yelling things that weren't encouraging, weren't Christian. And it showed how our society was just going downhill. And what we are doing as Christians is our goal is to encourage others and to have that faith and to stand out and not be one of those bystanders that just there not changing the world. So our goal through this was to show people this is what happens when good people do nothing. So our goal as Christians is to make that impact, and that's why y'all are here at Content. So I'm gonna have y'all walk this way, but through the experience, you would see how no one was helping each other. No one was being a good person, essentially. But even though this event is no longer happening, we still love it, we still appreciate it. But now, I'm going to talk about our church. This church has been used for many different events. It is actually used for our most recent event that we had, the Independence Day. Don't worry, it's air conditioned. Okay. Y'all can stand in there, take a seat, up to y'all. This church has a little bit of history. So the benches that you see and are sitting on were actually handmade by some of our staff members. I'm totally not biased by that. But it was made by a few of our volunteers as well. So they'd come out, spent their hard-working hours and time, donated their time to build this. Now, these chairs have not only been used in this scene, which was for the apocalypse experience, if you remember. We had actually had to demo some of the church and kind of create a whole different look. But this building was actually used for our most recent Independence Day trail. I'm going to flip through here because I forgot the exact details, but we're going to go along with it like I totally know what I'm doing. So, the Independence Day trail, was anyone there for that? Wow, no one was there for it. Okay, so we have our Independence Day trail, and it's close to the 4th of July. So it's kind of telling the story of the Battle of Lexington, or better known as the Shock Around the World. So it actually gave a little bit of history of the Black Road Regiment and Reverend John Peter Muhlenberg. I just say that when I acted in it. I mess it up every single time. And Reverend Jonas Clark and the founding fathers like Jan Hancock. And when you actually experience that, you would get to meet all of those people. You get to see the reenactment, and you felt like you were traveling back in time. So when you went from the pre-apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic to slowly moving back in time, you start seeing all the costumes change, start seeing all the wardrobe and the accents. And it's like you're truly traveling back in time. So we can actually head on back out here. You will see some of our newer sets that we've been working on. Some of it is still under construction, but we've been recently building it for our second part of the trilogy of Washington's Army. So this, as anyone who is here for the apocalypse knows, that something looks a little different. That's a trash camp. There was a whole metal wall here. That house was in there. That house was in there. Fun things about these two is actually these are both fake buildings. So there is no backs to them. This one we used for storage, and the other one was actually a stable before we had created this. Now we had created this all in about under 2 weeks with a team of 5 people. Well, no, 5 to 10 people. Now, the reason we're building this is to make it look more realistic. Our goal is to have a movie set that is not only historically accurate, but biblically accurate. So, for the first century village, we have all of our costumes, our accents. We actually have historians come in and read our scripts, make sure the dialogue is correct, make sure that the finite details are as accurate as possible. Now, when we come through here, I'm going to talk about the extreme detail that our team goes to make things historically accurate. So, one thing about this place is through the Independence Day Trail, you actually got to walk through and you would see all the fathers and the husbands and the sons leaving their families, heading off to war. Now, the house that we are about to enter is actually the home of Prince Estabrook. But in the beginning, there was a video that played, and this is actually where we filmed the first home when they were coming in and raiding and stealing all the weapons and the husbands from their families. So, we can take a look inside. And this one is air conditioned, so I will tell you that.
Great.
Yeah, we can try to scoot in as much as possible. I know. This is why this building is my favorite. All right, last person is. I want to hear a whoop, and then the door shuts. So I don't know whoever the last person is. Oh.
Nice.
So I'm gonna give you a little history on this one. Mom, are you the last one?
I got 2 more.
Okay, 2 more coming. All right, so while those 2 more walk in, I'm going to give you a little bit of history on this house. So this house has actually been turned from many different things. It has been turned into a science building where they had an evil lab, a chemist in here that was creating chemicals for the apocalypse experience. That was then transferred to a slave shack for Prince Estabrook. Prince Estabrook was one of the slaves who was freed, and then from there he moved on and he decided to help his country. So from here, when we talk about the details that we put in, if you look on the wall, what he's tapping right now, we actually individually cut each one of these panels, and to make it look as real as possible, we did not use any tools to put anything on the wall. You can actually look right here and you can see our handmade fingerprints stroking against the wall to create the texture. So this was a long, tedious process, but it just creates more reality and more depth to it. So when they come in, when they film, it's not going to be like, oh, you see like a little plaster smear here. No, it's actually our hands working to create it as real as possible. We actually had someone come in besides the outlets, just don't the outlets. But along with this, and you can actually look at the bricks on the wall too. These started out as a nasty orange color. So we had to individually color each brick. We used water wash, came over with color, and if you look at the fireplace, we actually stained and dyed each one. Not only that, this door did come like this, but that door we cut individual panels to line it up, stained it, dyed it, and attached it to the wall. So when we talking about making things as accurate as possible and putting pride and joy into our projects, this is what we need. It doesn't have to be the importance of a project, just means we want it to be quality, not quantity. All right, if y'all want to take a step outside, I don't know why I went country there. But we're just gonna keep walking like I'm meant to. We're gonna take a step outside, honey.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Oh my God.
We're going on a trip in our famous rocket ship. Okay, so if y'all look over to your right, you're gonna see a big old white building. Now, can anyone give me a summary of how long a normal, fully functioning house takes? 6 months? Okay, well, we built this one in 3. So, handmade, designed it, everything. The bricks were actually laid by some of us. Those are obviously not real, but I'm glad you believed it. So this place was actually built on a concrete slab. Now, for those who've been here before, I keep looking at you because you were like the only one who's been here before. This was the old science lab. And then this whole concrete slab, we had a huge tent that was talking about the chemicals being put into our bodies, about the vaccines, about having to wear masks. Oddly enough, it was predicting the 2020 year before it was ever wrote. It was written 5 years before that happened. So when we walk in here, you will see a few of just our favorite parts about the story, but this actually relived, and you got to see a meeting between the most important parts of our founding fathers. And feel free to take pictures if you want to sit in anything, against the wall, up to y'all.
I like these chairs.
So one thing about this house is we had used this, it wasn't done before Washington's Armor, but since Washington's Armor is actually a 3-part trilogy, we had already filmed the first one and part of the second, so this building and the building next door, Princess Estabrook, will actually be used in the second and third film that are coming out. We're not sure if it's going to be just a 2-part film or 3. We're hoping for the trilogy. If God provides the resources that we need, then we'll be receiving it. So hopefully, if it's God's will, then we're going to be doing it. But in this house, it actually showed, this is the home, well, yes, this is the home of Reverend John Carter. And in here, we actually experienced a meeting between our founding fathers. They were discussing plans and plans of the future. Then, as soon as that happened, you had, actually, you're inside, you hear it. Come on, we must leave, they're coming for us. And then the door opens. Who was in there? Oh, come on. No, Washington in here. No, Paul Revere. There we go. Someone who said Paul Revere, she's like, I got you. So, Paul Revere, huh? Exactly. So, while we're inside, I'll let you enjoy the AC a little bit more while I go outside. So, we're going to open the door, but on this path that we next follow, you would actually come up and leave, and you would go with Paul Revere. So, imagine that Paul Revere.
She's got the energy that we all need right now.
Now, if I'm going to direct y'all attention to your left, you see this brick wall next to you. This brick wall is incomplete for a reason. Now, it will be finished by the end of content, but the reason we have it incomplete now is to show you just some of the processes that we do to create Capernaum as it is. This wall was actually hand-drawn, painted. You can go up and look at it, but we had taken this. It's taken us over a week and a half. We had hired a volunteer. Actually, we didn't hire him. A volunteer had donated her time for a week and a half straight to come create this wall to look as real as possible. It's kind of scary a little bit how detailed it is. So like one of the, a few of the brick walls you saw over there were actually hand painted. They're so well done you did not notice them. Yes, sir. Why didn't we use real bricks? Well, not only the fact that it was expensive, but we're actually planning on changing this within a couple months. So putting bricks up, concreting them, taking them back down is a lot of work. So, I'm going to give you all a little backstory about the house that's currently behind us. Now, it is a beautiful structure. This is what we call the Emmaus house. So, for our Crimson experience, this is the house where a lot of Jesus' disciples were here, where you were able to meet him once again. Now, we have a love-hate relationship with this building. Now, when I say it's a love-hate, it's more of hate than love by how much effort we've had to put into it. But as a Christian studio, and I mean, we're all Christians, so as you know, there are always going to be spiritual attacks, either mentally, physically, or, well, spiritually. So with this house, it was the day before our production. The roof had flooded. It messed up the floor. We had to refloor the entire thing, and it was raining the night before. So when we talk about attacks that happen to our studio, we've had injuries happen. We've had buildings collapse. Building that wall, one of the panels actually almost fell on us.
No, you can scare them up now.
Nah, they're all fixed, trust me. Anyway, but this building just shows that no matter how much the enemy tries to attack us, God will always provide a way. The day before, we had actually had flooring gifted to us so that we could refloor the entire bottom of the floor. But yeah, the floor. I keep saying the floor too much. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop. But when God says if there's a will, there's a way, but God is the will and he is the way. We wanted to give up on this house so many times, but he says, I told you to make this, and it will happen no matter what comes your way. And it's just a reminder in life, no matter what comes your way, he always has a plan, and if it's his will, he will make a way. So I'm going to have y'all step inside real quick.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, yay.
The house is, yeah.
I won't make you look at it just from the pretty outside.
That's true, that's true. What kind of tour would that be?
Just kidding. So you're at the front of the group. You get to see all that. They just walk in, understand, and you're like this. They have no idea.
You're like, hello.
Oh, whoa. Right? How we fixed it.
Don't make too much noise with that phone.
Yes, recently painted too. Thank you. Alright, so I'm gonna stand in the middle of the floor because I hope my shoes are clean because I really don't want to clean this rug again. So, little backstory on the inside of this house. When you were to walk through, you would actually come through after meeting people on the path. Now, who knows about the Crimson or who knows what it is? Wow. Well, hello, Mother. So the Crimson experience is where you get to see Jesus starting from the village. You get to walk through and you get to see the story of his life, the last 3 days. So, starting in the village, you get to see him. Now, I was given the opportunity and very much blessed of being the first AD to go, the first AD, the assistant director for it, and I was able to work with the actors. Now, in the village scene, it's Jesus getting whipped and falling and carrying the cross. And over again, I would see crowds walk in and they see that. And it slowly starts clicking in their mind that the story of Jesus isn't just a story in a book. That it's a real story, it's a real person. Where you can imagine your son, your brother, your dad laying on that ground, seeing him over and over, going through those trials, going through those tribulations, and thinking, this is real. This was someone's son. This is someone's story. And it's not just a storybook. And for me, that was just incredibly eye-opening. I just seen that over and over. So the reason it was so just intriguing was our special effects. Now, who likes special effects? Okay, good. There's some hands there. All right, perfect.
Fire.
Fire. Well, that's fire.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, that's just the fire. That's not really. That's what it really works.
I like fire.
You need to go talk to Dane. He sets a lot of things on fire. Not personally.
Anyway. Just in case.
Yeah. But our special effects team had made it look like his back was truly whipped. Now, that sounds a little bloody and gory, but it's just telling the story more accurate. Now, when you go through there, when we go into stage B, you'll actually see the open area where we built a tomb. The tomb was over 8.5 feet tall, with a 30-foot LED wall on top of it. Now, when you picture an angel, what do you picture? Just a dude with the wings?
Yeah.
Average sized dude with wings. We had found someone, dear friend of ours, who was over 7 feet tall. We had hand-built wings that were over 17 feet long.
When does that move?
Yes. She knows what I'm talking about. The wings actually fully extended, opened, and closed. So when you're standing there, the lights go dark. Everyone sits down. You look up, all you see is fog and a massive dude standing over you with wings. Like, it gives me goosebumps even talking about it. Because just seeing that, you're not in your everyday life. You are back in time going, oh my word, this is real.
Yeah.
And when you see that, you're able to see the tomb. And then from there, you say, why are you looking for the living among the dead? And his voice was deep and booming. So truly told the story more than you could ever just think of. So when you left there, you followed along the path, you saw a few kids running, and they talked to you, hey, have you seen this person? I heard he's back. And they're saying, who? And then you come here, and you see his disciples talking about, how could we let this happen? What happened? Where did we go wrong? You hear them talking through that story. Then all of a sudden, the lights go out. And you see him. I'm looking at you because your facial expressions are perfect.
No, you're good. I'm very invested.
I know, right? Hopefully we all should be at some point in our life.
Yeah.
But you see Jesus arise, and he shows you his scars. And he says, look, I am here. And so is that bug. I hope y'all like the little commentary, because that's just my brain going everywhere. So we'll actually head back out this way. But this is the Emmaus house. So this is kind of like the finale of it. When you see him come back.
Yeah.
We're going to take an incredibly long walk all the way back to the stage beat.
Oh, I've got commentary.
Oh!
Do
So
I take over?
I'm going to switch it off to my lovely mother who birthed me, so I am very grateful for her. All right, Mama.
I brought her into this world. I could take her out.
That is oddly true. Anyway.
No, the reason I wanted to speak was because this is not just for filmmaking, not just for live events, not just. Although all those things are amazing, I wanted to let you know that it is an incredible family opportunity. Our family came and we went through, it wasn't one of the first ones, but we went through the path of plagues. And we were homeschooling at the time. Lauren was about 8 years old, about this tall. She was a big 8-year-old.
Oh, no.
And she was dressed in full costume because you know when you homeschool,
The only
you
one
do
in
things
full
like
costume, besides the
totally
actress.
immersive. So she walked through and she gave those tour guides the hardest time, asking all the questions, being up in their business, going ahead of them and all that
Well,
stuff.
did you know?
Yes. So fast forward, what, 8 years? 10 years? She became a tour guide for the very same tour that we went on when she was 8.
And guess who I met?
Full circle moment.
I met a little girl who showed up full costume. Well, did you know this happened? And did you know this happened? It brought me so much joy. I got to go home and tell my mom, Mom, did you know what happened? And I was like that 8-year-old all over again.
But what was really amazing is all through that time, our entire family, no matter how old we were, volunteered at Capernaum. So those family bonding opportunities brought us a lot of joy, a lot of great memories. And now, Lauren is actually working here.
Full time.
Really? Full circle moment. So she is the coordinator for all the volunteers.
She's a volunteer. I'm her boss. We're her out.
She's technically my boss today. Just today.
Don't tell her.
And she also helps build the set. So all of those buildings you saw down there, well, not all of them, most of them, were built by her, a handful of staff, and the rest are all volunteers. So if you live in the area,
Please,
or
let me
if
get your
you want to
information.
drive up, please consider volunteering, because that is one way that you can not only feel the power of being able to contribute to something that's bigger than yourself,
She took my line.
an amazing opportunity, but also you can network. We have met some amazing people, and that's how Lauren's been able to be in a couple of movies and some TV shows and work behind the scenes as a 17-year-old girl.
Wow.
She is now just 19, in case nobody knew that. She's my baby. But they took a risk on her, and they included her.
I was 18 when they took a risk
to be
on me.
part of
So.
it, because something that I love about the studio, among the many other things, is that they really want to build up a new generation of young filmmakers to take back that industry for the Lord. So be involved. You can sponsor a young filmmaker next year.
And my guess is, looking around, we have probably a lot of young filmmakers in this group here. I'm looking at a bunch of them here.
And I love
All
to
right.
see that. That's amazing. And so Lauren's going
I'm gonna have y'all walk this way, but do you want to keep talking, please? By me.
Lauren is also looking at starting a program where we can have speakers come in and speak.
She's telling all my secrets. All right, so we're gonna be walking past the ACs. You're not gonna hear me very well, but the building that we're about to go into, y'all have been in here way too many times for the most pleasant thing, food. But when they talk about young filmmakers, youngest one here, we have the second youngest. And I'd also say the most brightest, brilliant, and hardworking person I think I have ever met. He has put months on months into this project. And they are in the middle of a meeting. And he's going to give us a little explanation of what the LED wall is. And now y'all have probably seen it, playing some videos and things. But he's about to go show us what it is. So.
All right. How's everybody doing?
Good.
You're good. Y'all enjoying the AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot. Is everybody here from Texas or?
No.
Is that why we got the chairs? I'm kidding. All right, so today we're going to showcase to you virtual production and what we have for capabilities here at Capernaum Studios for that. How many here are familiar with virtual production or got one? All right, good. Couple? That's good to know. So virtual production is the future of filming. As everybody knows, you get your crew cameras set up, you go to Montana and look at the beautiful mountains and get your background shot. And when you're ready to go to the beach, you have to pack up your gear, move your crew all the way to the other coast. So what virtual production accomplishes is it allows us to get any type of environment on a screen in a controlled stage, okay? So what we're able to do is give you a realistic, lifelike picture without actually having to go to a destination. Has everybody here seen The Mandalorian? Yeah. The Mandalorian, all of it was shot in studio with virtual production technology. They were not outside filming in the jungle and in the desert and everywhere else they were at. And as real as that looks, that's exactly what this will accomplish, okay? And the way that they accomplish that is they're able to give all the different set props we have in front, combined with the screen that we have in the back, gives it a seamless transition on real life items into the digital world. So on camera, there is a seamless transition that you are unable to tell where the real world ends and the fake world begins. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you guys a short little scene here, about 30 seconds or so, and we're gonna be able to get you guys in here. Dane has the little screen.
I've got it.
Oh, Jason, that's right. Jason.
We're having lag on the TV today, guys. So if we're still having lag here, you can just kind of gather around and you can see it right here on the screen. Nobody likes lag, but it is what it is today.
Is that a PS4 controller?
It is. That's how techie this is.
That's so techy.
Are y'all ready? So hey, gather around so y'all can see the camera. You can actually see like what the movie looks like best you can. And I'll help you out. Are y'all ready? Want to call action, Dane?
Ready, action.
It transcends time and space, inspiring us to create.
So, also, this was live, but last week we shot a promo here at Capernaum Studios, and we would really like to show that to you because we shot in 3 locations in 2 days. We shot in a jungle, a modern museum, as well as our Roman map behind us. And so if you can play that video.
It transcends time and space, inspiring us to create. Drawing us forward to the edges of the earth, for a solitary feeling felt once in a lifetime, connecting us all, propelling us forward into the unknown and the almost forgotten. You will always remember the way you felt when you saw it for the first time. Now, go forth create.
Wow. These are a couple of the dynamite actors that we have.
Yes.
So they both work with Cinemammoth. They are one of the production companies that was able to make that entire shoot possible. Okay. So one of the things with virtual production, you need a crew, right? Everybody knows when you film, you need a crew. Virtual production is just the same. And lighting is in fact a little bit more important than a lot of the other types of filming you may have done, because you're trying to match real life with the wall. And so we were able to actually put that together Wednesday, like Dane asked, or had said. And what's great is we were able to get all 3 of those locations, and we were able to edit everything, continue pre, post, all the production, and deliver that to you guys today. Has anybody else here ever done filming and got the actual live shot out a week later? Anybody?
So, you mind if I say something?
A lot of that work that you saw, there was a lot of pre-production involved. So instead of doing everything behind a green screen and focusing on post-production, right, and all your VFX work post, we did extensive planning. I worked with Joey, our DP, that day to plan out all of our shots and create a shot list. And so on the day of shooting, when we had all of our crew and everyone, talent involved, all we had to do was go through our scenes and just click, boom. We got a wide shot here. I just transitioned the stage. So, and I can demonstrate that too in a second. But everything, what's really cool about Unreal Engine is it is a controlled environment, right? Working in a studio with Unreal Engine, we can manipulate everything in that environment. The lighting, the weather conditions. We can manipulate the structures, the size, the position of that. So everything that you see on the wall can be manipulated. Even the color balance and everything, the color I/O. So what's really nice is this gives you a lot of control over where you're filming. So if you're filming in a lot of harsh conditions or you want to go out for on location, virtual production gives you the ability to film in multiple locations in one spot. Yes, ma'am.
So I noticed you guys have like lighting and stuff, and like most LED screens, you get like a lighting like reflection. Like, what is the screen made out of that it's so like matte? Like, there's no like reflections of the lights or cameras and stuff like that.
Yes, a lot of that comes down to how you light your scene, okay, right, and the brightness of the screen. So rather than just like a projection, like a projector, you have to worry about, when you turn on the lights, how it fades away. Mm-hmm. Well, those are individual. Those are 3,360 pixels wide by 1176 pixels high. So those are producing an insane amount of light, and that's at 50% brightness too. So, and the goal is to make sure that your screen isn't extremely bright, that you can't light your scene or light your foreground accordingly, right? And so it's a fine balance, and you really have to work with your light team on set, your grip, to light the scene properly. But yeah, that's the main focus. So rather than focusing or worrying about the technology working on the day of shoot, the goal of virtual production is to put everything in the director's hands. So when they show up to shoot, all they have to worry about is working with their talent and working like a traditional film set. The wall is just there, you know what I mean? And he tells me, okay, go to location 2, boom, and I take care of that. So, yes.
So what's great about it too, like I said, we have control over the entire environment, right? So if the director says, hey, I don't really like the position of the sun, the shadows are this way, I mean, no one can really control the sun, so you're kind of stuck with what you're stuck with. But with virtual production, that's not the case. So we're actually able to manipulate the environment, and lighting again is going to be key. So we're able to control what it looks like and give the director the scene that they want when they want it. So what this is going to do more than anything, it saves everybody time. You're not having to worry about waiting till the next day. Maybe you didn't get the shot. Now we got to wait for the rain to clear up. Like a snowstorm blew in, we got to wait for that. You don't have to worry about any of that with this. You can actually set up the environment exactly the way that you need it done. Any other questions right now? Okay.
Can you like change the environment, or does it have to be exactly the same all the time?
That is an excellent question. I feel like we got together and tossed in the softwater. So if you notice, there's a giant kangaroo sign in the center. That probably doesn't belong there. What's great with virtual production, we have the ability to remove everything and change everything in real time. So the environment's completely manipulative. If you don't like the Coliseum itself, we can delete it. You want giant rocks in your scene? Here they are. Maybe you want trees, maybe you want the rocks moved. Maybe you want bigger fire, smaller fire. Is that the proper term? Small fire? This allows us to do everything in real time and have the environment exactly the way the director wants. And so really what this does, more than anything, it cuts down on film days. So the big thing is filming different locations, $100,000 to get your crew to Virginia, another $100,000 to get your crew to Wyoming, another $100,000 to get them home, anything like that. You're having to take care of one spot only. You don't have to worry about the logistics of travel anymore. So that is really what virtual production can do. Dane?
Yeah. How big is that map?
The map?
Like,
Let me see. I can fly out of here and kind of show you. It's easier when you're in what's called Godward.
You guys design the assets, digital assets?
That is an excellent question. So the question was asked in terms of asset design. So these maps that we're looking at right here, they're not very expensive. You can buy a map like this for $100, $200, and you're able to license to use in movies. There's a lot of legal things that go into it after your movie reaches the $1 million revenue mark. That's because everybody wants their cut of the pie at that point, right?
So when you buy those, are there limitations for each one that you buy for the customization?
They're fully customized once you buy. Now, if there's anybody who wants something a little bit more specific, something where just a standard templated scene won't get you, you're actually able to work with different companies. We've worked with Soma Setworks before. They do a lot of the Christian film. They are able to create an entirely customized environment for you, from texturing and everything. Those can get expensive very quick. Those can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to $100,000, $150,000, depending on how much you use.
Regarding camera resolutions, what do you have on that? And can you, and if it's beneficial to put like an 8K camera, or if it doesn't really matter because you're, focusing that in?
So with something like that, you actually want going into this 6K and 8K cameras. That's what you're going to start filming these with. For the purposes of our demonstration today, we're only using a 4K camera, and I mean you can see it based on what was shown on there. It looks fantastic. But when you want the ultimate one, which we use different companies here, we have Cinema Story and Cinemammoth, which are kind of partnered with Capernaum. They are the people that lead with that for us because we specialize with the equipment, the technology, the studio. It's not usually wise to try to be an expert in everything. So we use them to make sure that we have the top of the line equipment for that sort of thing. What other questions do you have?
I guess I'm thinking more motion, dynamics. Let's say you want somebody in a car, how does that look? Driving down the street kind of a thing.
It actually looks fantastic.
And then the other thing is, what are the challenges between the reel here and then what you have there, right, to make it look like or are there any, do you see?
So the biggest challenge that you'll face, it really will boil down to the type of crew you're working with because lighting is going to be the biggest element in making this look real. So if you look at the way we have it now, right, the stage, it has more of a dirt covering that we kind of put up there for it. The environment that we're looking with, you have to make sure that that lighting is matched in with the colors that you have on the screen, but also the lighting themselves has to match the color temperature and the intensity of that lighting will make everything. Because like it was mentioned earlier, you go too bright, now you're shining on the wall. So there's that really fine line to figure out how to blend that when you're setting up.
So do you have any tools that feed back into the system, say, hey, you're too hot or you're too warm or anything like that, or is it just more like the person that just...
I'm sure that exists, but another crew that we were working with last for this is just kind of the eyeball.
Yeah,
the eyeball.
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to put one of these in our house, for example, how much are we talking money-wise?
So in equipment here, and Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're looking at least $300,000 in equipment.
This was $140,000 with all our cameras and everything we've got invested now. We're a little over $200,000.
There we go.
There you go.
So first
Maybe
step
next
is to
year.
get a couple 100,000 and then.
Well, that's what's great about us. We are
We'll come here.
We're not going to charge you a couple $100,000.
That is true.
So what we are kind of moving towards business model-wise is kind of an all-inclusive film studio. So what that means to me is we handle everything for you. So in my mind, you should be able to come to me, tell me what type of movie you want to film, and we're going to ask you the questions. What kind of crew do you need? Do you have actors? Do you need background actors? What about lodging? We can sleep over 40 here at the property itself, so nobody has to leave if you need to be here for days at a time. And of course, if you need food, water, etc., we have catering people that will bring all that to us, so you can leave the, what's called, honey wagon? Leave that at home. We don't need that here.
We have hair and special effects, makeup. We have wardrobe, tons of. Cool thing is we offer a plethora of first century props and costumes as well as a bunch of other stuff. So we're trying to create that all-inclusive environment with what we have to offer.
But, if anybody has any more detailed questions, anything like that, I will be over there at the stage A right after this at 4 o'clock. So we're able to answer a little bit more detailed questions, etc. But I think something towards Thank you, everybody.
All right, everybody, we're going to head out after we give a round of applause. All right, y'all, we're going to head over this way. We're going to head into the village. Now, I'm going to get everybody's perspective, or just have everybody answer. Who has seen The Chosen? Woo. Okay, okay, there we go. I'm like, not as many hands. Never mind. All right, so did y'all know that The Chosen was actually filmed out here in our very first century village?
Yes.
Awesome. Good that everybody knew that. So we're going to try to have everybody stay on the path.
Come prepared, buddy.
So we're going to spend a little bit more time in the village, so you can take as many pictures, selfies, photos, whatever you want to do. Want to be like an air flight pilot? We're going to do this way. All right, everybody, we're going to go. There are restrooms up, but if you go through the village, you will actually find restrooms on the other side. I don't know why I'm so expressive when I'm so sorry.
I love it. I might have just a whole video on just this tour.
Just me.
Just this tour.
Side.
Yeah.
If I start breakdancing or something, who knows?
Yeah, who knows at this point.
Alright, so my group, we're actually going to file in and I'm going to come stand over here, okay? In the shade. Now, if you look around, do any of y'all see anything truly familiar that just caught your eye? He's got it. So, if you look around, we can actually, now each one of the rooms should be fully set dressed, so feel free to walk inside, take pictures. What am I trying to say? The seasoning and the herbs that are on the table are actually real, so you can smell it. It's, I think cayenne pepper on there and a few other things. So yeah, feel free to go inside, take a look. Y'all start recognizing things and just take as many pictures as you want to. There was one lab and then we had like dead staring at the camera. I love the pie. Go drop it, go. I was so scared. I'm like,
Hey, EJ.
Wow, this looks very uncomfortable. That doesn't look comfortable. Is that an actual lemon? Is that just fake? Looks fake.
Yeah. We'll go with what we got. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about this because it says
Basically.
yeah.
And then it takes all the pressure off.
Yeah.
That's why.
Part of the production. Right. So I like that they just let them here because they help to
Oh my gosh, it's morphed.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's cool.
I actually remember this scene.
This is cool, man.
Oh my god, my dad.
Did you go up there?
What?
Probably can't go up there. Oh, you can go up there. There's somebody up there. I was just
name, right? McCutcheon?
yes, yes, it is. Kimberly.
I remember McCutcheon for some reason.
That's really interesting. It's not a very common name. Wow, this is cool.
yeah, so you're the second person that
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't see everything.
para esto en el año pasado.
Casey, you don't have to bend down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't make fun of your
I
height.
never do. You have no idea how relentless my other buddies are. Even I'm relentless.
Acabamos el tour y ya.
Alright, if you don't want to get lost, you probably want to follow me.
You're gonna run out of battery.
I know. I didn't realize this was so entertaining. I thought it was gonna be a couple of shots here and there, but no, the whole thing is fun.
Did you go up there?
With the whole, yeah, I did see a little bit of it, and then she called.
Eden trampled the grapes over there, and Matthew's tax collection booth for the chosen.
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure. I can't. I saw so much. I remember the
This is
whole
the
though.
Market Street.
Yes.
This is also in Washington's armor. They dressed it
Oh,
a
is
little
it?
bit differently, and they shot it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
amazing how a different angle and a little bit of set dressing can change it completely.
Absolutely. Utilize everything to the fullest.
No. I really wanted to go to the top, but I'm like, nah, there's cameras around here. So, this tomb is one of our tombs that has been here since the very beginning. So, ever since Tammy had her vision of creating a first century village, this area, the whole garden, was actually one of the very first things that was created. So this tomb is one of the very first things. Now, it's not just a rock. Sadly, our remote is currently up at our boss, and our boss walked away. I don't know where she went. Oh no! Tammy has it. Actually, you got to see her a little bit. But this is actually a mechanical door. So there's a button, and it rolls closed and rolls open. So during Easter, we would roll it closed. The day after, we would roll it back open. So it's really cool. It's a really fun tradition that we've been doing, and y'all are actually feel free to walk through it. So when you do, make sure you come back out because we got to go over to the temple. So yeah, absolutely.
Is there still an opening on there?
Yeah, but I don't want them to go there.
This is the model.
Yeah, I'll show you. Oh, you should go back? Yeah. Okay.
One way in, one way.
Oh, you got security on the other side.
AKA the bouncer.
Yeah.
That's a cool technique right there.
Real action, and then we drew over it. So it's like real people, but then we drove behind it. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's like, yeah, that's from a book that we actually did from.
And you want to produce that?
It's done, but it's a short form. I think 10 minutes.
Hello.
No way. Oh my gosh, try.
No. All right. Even though it's a straight path, I don't want to lose you. Straight and narrow, not necessarily the curly cube. So y'all feel free to explore after we finish the tour, but this whole area is open to explore. You can go in buildings, you can take pictures, just have fun. And tonight there will actually be a worship under the stars up here in our Coliseum. It says Coliseum. All right, and I'm gonna disappear this way. Temples. The temple.
Como yo estoy más enfocado en everything what they had there.
Alright, I know we have a few more people coming in here, but Chosen was not only filmed in the village, but it was actually filmed in here as well. So if you go around the corner, you'll actually see the steps where the, I think, Sadducees were sitting on, having discussions. So the members of the church and, I don't know, I really forgot what scene it was, but they were actually used all of Capernaum. They would come here, they would use these columns. Now, the fun thing about these columns is we had them in the middle of the room, and someone would sit here and they would just start falling because these are actually foam. It's currently being blocked, but if you want to push on the one right next to you, not super hard. Yeah, go ahead. No, Mama's over here. Don't be. So they're actually made out of foam. These are textured to make it look like columns. So when you have it in the middle, we actually have metal stakes in the ground right now that you set them on top of. But when they're in the middle, we've had some people, oh yeah, it's just, and then they just start going. So we had to like start labeling warnings on them. But in this temple, it has been used for many, many films. Like Paul the Last Apostle. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of that one. It recently came out. I'm biased to it because I was in it. A little biased. But Ulysses was actually just in here. He was Paul. He was the star of the show. And he was in here, but this is where we filmed the scene where he was trying to prove his point and talk to a lot of the members in this area. And then there was a whole riot that happened outside. So, if y'all want to follow me, I don't know if we can, but we might be able to sneak out this door. Yep, we can. We just gotta sneak Alright guys, we're gonna try not to lose you. So technically we are going back in time more than we already are. And we are going through the story of the Bible backwards. Now, you'll see what I mean when you start looking at all the signs.
Oh yeah, backwards.
Anyone taller than 6 foot? Do not hit that. So, we choose to obey God, and some who can disobey, that's only for authorized personnel, so only
No, we did it like
anyway.
we started at the beginning, then we went all the way.
Ooh, I see. Oh, that's
We actually, we used to fill these up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what happened?
Pump's broken right now. But it's happening.
I was gonna say, is this like a Texas thing where they need it?
No, we can't afford water.
So?
Okay. Whoa. Oh, is this some?
No, wait.
The ark?
Oh.
We actually had animals in here. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna send y'all upstairs. Watch your head. Do not trip.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Take pictures. Watch Washington's armor so you know it's from. Alright, we're gonna have everybody go upstairs, watch your head, and do not trip, because that's bad and a liability on me and the studio, so I don't want to do that. So, you are actually walking through the ark. Here, go up front and look at it. Whoa! Are we supposed to keep walking? Oh, there you go.
Oh, this is legit, man.
Reminds me of the one in Kentucky, but not
Oh my god. I'm not for lights. I'm not for lights. No. Seriously, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I can give what?
Have you seen Washington?
Okay. I'll take the seat because I can. Because no one else has it. So, the fun thing about this room, it was actually used for the filming in Washington's army. Now this was used as the tavern, but also meeting place for a lot of the British soldiers. One thing about people don't understand is the lower half of this was used for the Ark. Or not the Ark of the Covenant, because we already saw that. It was used for the Ark, and we actually do fill this up with animals on occasion whenever we do have events in the garden. But when we use this, if y'all look at the pictures on the wall, we had to fit close to 40 people up here. And it didn't break? Correct. Wow. Yeah, no, we built this thing good.
This one's good, this one's not good.
This was it. No, that wasn't that one. That's okay. No, we had to film not only close to 40 people in here, but the equipment, the costumes, the wardrobe, and the special effects and makeup in here.
Wow. One room?
Yes.
The crew.
And, oh yeah. Sorry, 30 actors, about 10 to 15 crew members.
Wow.
There's a lot of people downstairs and a lot of people upstairs.
Wow.
Majority of us
What
were
year
upstairs.
was it?
Huh?
What time of year?
Summer.
Orale.
So this on a regular basis.
And they were all in wool.
It was in July, and yeah, it was all wool coats and thick because we were having to film the battle scene.
Sheesh.
Yes.
Wow.
So thankfully, we actually got to film. We've had two extremes when filming Washington's armor. We had some of it filmed in July, which was the upstairs tavern, and the other half. If you go into some of the main areas, you'll see a lot of like muskets, battle scenes, stuff like that. If you're ever in production offices, and you'll see some in there. But we had filmed it close to end of January, early February. Now, you get two extremes of that in Texas. You get flaming hot in the middle of winter, or you get solid frozen. One day was solid frozen, the other day was extremely hot. We don't know what happened. It had rained the night before, and they had to do battle scenes in mud, in slippery ice. It was chaotic. And the next day, it had gotten so hot, they were sweating through their wool coats, and it was 60 degrees. We don't know how, we don't know why. But the enemy tries to take us out, and God says, nope, we're going to make this happen. We only had one person on site that just had something related to heat. One person out of a crew of basically close to probably 150 people working on site. The crew was 50, and then not only that, but like the background, the lead actors for 100. We constantly had air conditioning. We had amazing PAs and volunteers that were out there distributing water, distributing cooling packs, everything like that. That's why when you talk about having a crew and a team that you trust and rely on, it not only keeps things organized, smooth, and fast, but it keeps people safe. That's the biggest thing. And that's one of the things out here is we try to make our goals, one of our goals is to make everything we have safe and durable. So like you saying, is this able to have it? Well, we proved it one way or another. So if it wasn't, we figured it out and we fixed it. But, yes ma'am.
I recommend we move on.
Yes, that's true. All right, everybody, let's have that. You're getting a free sauna experience right here at this moment.
I love it. They got a gun. I think the coach is better than experience. I agree. The thing is that it's just like little heights like this. Like a lot of heights. I don't know who that crew was. Yes, ma'am? Probably. What in the world is going on over there? It sounds like a roller coaster ride. You know, I guess so. Well, Saul takes those corners pretty tight, so you hear him going. Oh, the Bible story. Yes. Special effects. All right, everybody. Now, when I said traveling through back in time, this is what I mean. We have gone from not only modern day through the old sets, slowly traveling back, but now we are at the creation of the world. When God had blessed it and said, let there be light, and there was light. How God saw everything, and he said that it was good. So you can actually see throughout the village, or not the village, whatever this place is, the garden. Majestic Statue Garden.
Oh, he's got the full title, Mr. Fancy.
No, that's what it says.
Exactly. Just didn't look at the wall. You will see verses and Bible verses correlating to each different spot that you find. So, we're going to cut through this, right?
I'm the bodyguard.
We're going to head over to the special effects and makeup trailer. So you know those wings that I was talking about?
Yeah.
We're going to go see the wings, and we're going to go see Jesus' back. So that's going to be cool. A little creepy, but it's cool.
Just the back?
Just the back. The last day, or the second day, they actually had to peel it off in different parts. The last day, they put so much that they could just peel it right off of his back.
Oh, wow. I love that. Was it mostly latex?
Yes. Got it. It was a lot of latex, silicone, and just clay that they had put on there. Brandy loves pranking people. We will walk in one day and have a scar down our face. Oh my God, the wall fell on us! And the wall fell, just not on us. So we went to Brandy and we pranked our leader. We pranked our CEO. We walked in, we're like, oh my God, they're gonna sue us! And it was just someone else came in with a gash in their arm. Like it was.
I love that. Yeah, imagine literally my hand being stapled with two staples.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was cool. And then I just scraped it off.
Hey Mom, watch.
Yeah, I can hear myself. I did it too many times. She doesn't believe me.
She won't believe you for yourself.
Oh yeah, was that a little off?
Peter's about to pick the pick and pick.
Alright, everybody, come on in! I sewed my friend's stuff on blood. With a real needle, I did
It's a little bit more red.
Oh yeah, 100% more red.
My dear in the tan shirt, I have not met you, but this is my information. I'm the volunteer coordinator. So if you want to come out here and work with her, feel free, just give me a call, text me or email me, and I'll respond to any of them. Okay?
You do.
Hey.
Come on in, make your way around.
Come on.
Yeah, really good. Come on, you're amazing.
Oh my goodness.
All right, guys, my name is Brandy Knight, and I am with Capernaum Studios. I'm full-time staff now. I started out as a volunteer. My background was heavy construction, did airports, military bases, stuff like that. My kids got out of control, so I retired early so they wouldn't burn down the town or go to prison. Decided to reel it back in and be a full-time mom. Put my youngest son into acting, and he got cast for a role out here in 2009. And so from that point, we started volunteering a lot and doing a lot of it, whether we were in the production or just in the background, or shuffling food back and forth or helping with the construction of it. When they did the apocalypse about 5 to 7 years ago, I can't remember when the first date was, they asked me to come in and volunteer and help the makeup artists. So I got on YouTube and started researching, found Brick in the Yard, and went and got silicone from them. It's 2-part silicone. and I started practicing on my kids. So when I came in, I was able to do the wounds and stuff on the guys in the cross. So now I have done lots and lots of Jesuses. I do full body Jesus, the whips, the slashes,
Do we have his
rounds.
back in there?
Huh?
Do we have his back in there?
Yeah, you have one in the back. Yeah, hang on. We'll bring it out. We'll go up in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
So-
she just wants to see it. And she's like,
So I started. These are the first body parts I ever made. Then I have ears. One of them was for Crimson. A couple of them was for this guy portrayed the cartel and got chopped up in pieces and scattered around the woods. I can do, if continuity is important, we can do flat molds, which you make the wounds ahead of time and then you glue it on the person. I prefer to do it free-handed if possible, so I have a thickener that I put in there and change it from the consistency of honey into the consistency of peanut butter, and I can freehand and paint and do the wounds on the person. I can skin match really well, so we put the pigment in, we have a flocking so that all the little specks in your skin you'll also see in the wound. Because the flocking will bring out the depth of it. It's like dryer lint, similar to that, but it's actually what they used to use to put the headliner in your vehicles. So that goes in there, and then you just sculpt it on the person's body. You feather the edges out so they disappear and you can't see it on camera. And then you go in there and paint it, and the final process is to add blood to it, which brings it to life. And you'll see things like the floppy blood here and stuff. So if I have extra material, I'll add more color and pour it out so we don't waste it completely, so people get.
You'll never know
want to
what you
rent
see
blood.
when you walk in here.
People rent blood mats, okay? So these are more of the flat molds, and like I said, we can make the wounds ahead of time. This would be a throat gash. So hold it. The burn body is actually a Halloween skeleton. We wrapped and burned, wrapped and burned, wrapped and burned.
that's Christina.
She
And her
actually,
little son, Christopher.
she actually goes on tours a lot.
She's on
This is yak hair. I was asked to make wigs, something else I never imagined. I never really liked anything to do with hair or makeup. So
Yet
it
she
was-
has beautiful hair.
yeah. But so it was quite a shock for me. But Tammy called me in one day and says, "What do you know about wigs?" I said, "Really nothing, but I guess I can learn." I think I had 2 weeks to learn. We were up in New York slapping wigs on guys' heads. So it went from that to making yak hair wigs for Washington's Armor, which you can see quite a few of them back here that's styled. Oh, most of them are not styled at this point because they just came back from a big rental. We actually shipped out 58 wigs and just got it back. So the only thing I've done right now is just inventory that we got everything back. So I haven't gone back in and styled them. And then behind you is where we start doing props and stuff. Background actors, well actually anybody, is hard on real weapons, and it's dangerous. We can't have everybody having a real weapon in their hands. So I cast the real weapon out of resin, and you can pass it around. I cast it out of resin.
Whoa.
We paint it to match the guns in the field, and then they can carry it around. The reason we do this is because
people.
not only for safety reasons, but because the actors are also very rough, especially when they're doing stunts.
Yeah.
And so they break them. So this way, if they get broken, it's no big deal.
So do you make the molds too?
I make the molds.
Yeah.
So I make the molds. There's one over there. Then I have to go in. I have to sand it and get it prepped for painting.
This thing is tall.
And these are the hatchets. Yes, all hand painted. The hatchets are all hand painted. Those hatchets were made very quickly. Didn't realize we're going to need them, but they were made for Gemaville gets a hatchet in the head. So the reason it's carved out like that is it actually matches. That one right there is real, but it's there because just to show I actually made a fake one of that, identical, and got it, and it went to the museum in Oklahoma where we filmed. Then the other day I decided, hey, before we do our next film for the soundstage or their next live production, because the crew had to haul in dirt. I know Lauren likes to carry a lot of weight around. Where are you at? Anyway, her and Saul and everybody carried all the dirt in to the soundstage in front of the tomb, and it's like, that's backbreaking. So when we have people coming in to set up in the soundstage and they have to have dirt brought in, then they have to clean it up afterwards. So now you can go down, we can make dirt mats for you, and these dirt mats just roll up. You can ship them, you can take them with you, whatever you need to do. And the one that's down on the soundstage right now in front of the LED screen is actually on carpet. So
Wow.
it's dirt that we came in on Sunday and glued all the dirt down to. I thought it was going to take me 3 or 4 hours. It took me over 8 hours. So it took me about 3 days to recover from that 8 hours. So this is the part that everybody seems to like the most is back here. You can
Hey, Dad, you stepped into a rifle.
I think she had a dirty sense of the means are right.
I'll make it fall.
So our actor, they wore the wings for Crimson. Come on in, guys. The ones that I've used before, they were only about 14-foot wingspan. These are 17-foot wingspan. And they do, they are remote control. So when everybody gets in here, anybody else out there?
Want to see the wings go flap, flap. That's ridiculous.
How heavy is that whole thing?
Between 35 to 50 pounds. I really don't know because I went out and bought a scale, but the scale was broken. It stops at 200 pounds and they weigh more than that. Not with the body. Yeah. So these are they are remote control. We actually, I was going to go get the battery for like the cars that the kids ride around in. And when I did that, I found out that you can have an adapter that we can use a battery from a drill. And so it's back here. And it's wireless, and then there's the power actuators in there. All the feathers were hand done and painted, and these were all glued on by hand.
Wow.
So when someone's actively wearing it, is it just opening and closing, or does it stay in one state?
No, it's opening and closing. He carries a remote, and then we have one in the background for just in case, because there's a lot of interference with the wireless. So he appears, for Crimson, he appears in front of the tomb. He has to go inside the tomb, so when he goes inside the tomb, they have to close and they have to open again. So it's like 3 to 4 times he's opening and closing them. So right now, the feathers are a little out of whack because there's a string that runs through there, and I'll have to retension the string whenever I get ready to put it on the actor. The actor, the size of him and the weight of everything, I had to actually, even though there's a belt here, this is just to hook on. He has a girth that goes on a saddle that goes around him and then goes across his shoulders in an X, and then on those is all rhinestone. So we had the rhinestone on it, but you had to have it thick enough because with the weight, it'll cut into the shoulder, especially when you're wearing it all day long.
Yeah.
So he had over 20 scenes to do for 2 days straight.
Amazing.
I need one of those in my house.
Wow.
I will be doing demonstrations tomorrow down in Stage B. For about every 45 minutes, I'll be doing wings on somebody, so you can come down there and we can demo. One good thing about Capernaum Studios to think about, if you do decide to come out here and film, you don't have to pull permits. Permits have been, I've been on 2 projects lately that the permits were thought to be pulled and they weren't, so they had to cancel the shoot or relocate to a different area. So you don't have to have permits. You have local access to crews, whether it's crews or actors. We have contacts for you. We also have contacts for your grip, your film crews, or you can bring your own. You have wardrobe department, you have makeup department, you have a whole world of, to access right here. And if you go down the soundstage, you can actually be inside and skip all this hot weather. Or the rain, or the cold. Seems like every time we go to film or have a live production, we're doing like winter scenes in the summertime. So it's really, really hot. Wearing wool costumes. Because the costumes for Washington are wool. So the guys are really hot. And you slap a wig on top of that.
Yeah. So, you're asking for it.
Yes. But they make it.
Yeah. And so how long did it take to, I don't know if you said that already, but to build this whole thing?
So this took a few weeks because we had, once it was almost done, we realized that the way we were doing the feathers at the time, there was, we used air foam to add really cool texture to it, but it ended up acting like a grip that you put down in your cabinet so your glasses don't slide, so it wouldn't do the scissor effect. set it up. Oh, I really don't have time. So luckily we had a couple people that was way smarter than I was on it. It takes a whole team to do this. I mean, everybody in there, having this when we're doing big production,
go see what crazy stuff.
There's no way one person can get everybody. So you get more into the sign and everything. So that way you can have the orchestrator. I stick to doing the rooms a lot, and then everybody else has the except for the
I mean, I can write it down. I made it very.
So it's a bloody business. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said didn't work. I'm like, no, didn't work.
It's still everything. I think they're underneath.
Yeah?
You're so
Xbox or.
So,
Oh, look, it's a pig. Oh, nice. It's a pig.
So if you follow Capernaum Studios, the Facebook page, or go to the website and check in. I will be doing workshops later. And also get Friday.
Did you get my text?
Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
It is.
This was patchy with like.
Well, you know, I live in like predominantly Hispanic community, and so what I do, like, hey, you know, I'm the FCA chaplain.
Just letting y'all know, there is a tram to take you over to Stage A. Stage A, we will have refreshments, snacks, drinks, and you get to meet Tammy Lane herself. You can ask her all the questions you want to. You will also meet Holly. She is a part of our PR and media team. So if you have any questions about renting out the studio, she'll have all the details, packages, partnerships with anything. So yeah, if y'all want to take a ride, we have the car right outside.
I'll drive. You said we can, yeah, but I don't know if everyone's gonna fit. I volunteered to drive. Come on, Larry. I can figure it out.
Get in here, dude.
All right, everybody on?
No. Sorry.
Where you based out of?
Yeah.
But of course, slow, not
You got
fast,
it?
because
I'll
then
be
I'm
like, my
gonna
hands
fly
flew up. Yeah, you look at me like, what are you doing? I got it.
She's like, I live on the
You know how there's like the truck to the back of the truck? I love riding in the back.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Pull hands up.
I mean, I can play.
We used to do it at the bottom of the time.
You want me to close my eyes?
No, but I used to ride horses a lot, so they were all over the place.
You mind saying hi in the video? I think it's cool to see it with the actors.
I love her. This is a trailer. This is the tram. Golf cart.
They call it Jamestown, but in New England, so they have these villages. It looks like when they found America. But the actors, they're like
We're in the Texas trolley.
They stay in character.
Oh yeah, there we go. Texas trolley.
Like you mention them something like you're from there, and they're like, oh, I don't know.
Stage A, you're gonna meet Tammy Lane's
You feel like you're really there.
one of the
founders. They have it that you could just be part of that. You don't feel like you're a tourist. You just have to walk. Whoa, back in the 1600s.
I hope the refreshments aren't all gone.